Sup, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning to each and every one of you. I am about to go live over on Twitch. So for those of you that do want to join the live conversations over there, you are more than welcome. I'm literally just sitting down with my first coffee for the day. And I want to discuss something that I've been asked quite a bit about over on Twitter, as well as over on Twitch, especially yesterday while we were streaming Final Fantasy. New World. It's the new thing, right? Everyone's talking about New World. And I wanted to go over why I'm not playing New World, even though I own it. I've not logged in since the game went live. And I sort of wanted to give my thoughts on New World in general. So look at this as almost a review / first impression, even though most of it is based on the beta. From what I've seen, the issues that I have with the game is still there, right? That hasn't changed at all. Massive shout out has to go to the patrons as well as the Twitch subs of this channel. Without you, I wouldn't be here. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Right, so I played New World, both betas, right? Actually, the alpha first, the NDA one, and then the betas. Had fun. Not gonna lie, it was a fun game. It is a fun game. The combat is really cool, really interesting. It's not really unique. I wish I could say that it's unique, but it really isn't, right? They wanted to go for sort of a Souls-esque kind of combat system. It's not the same. It's not a Souls-esque combat system. It gets let down by a lot of things. Some of it is mob design. Once you know what mobs do, it's the same. It doesn't matter what level you are. Even when you get to max level, the mobs still have the exact same animations. They're going to do the exact same things in the exact same order. So really, the challenge is figuring out how a mob is going to attack you. And once you know how a specific type of mob is going to attack, it's really just the same thing, right? You know when you're going to block, when you're going to hit, how many times you can hit before you have to block again, how many times you have to hit before you have to dodge. All of these things are pretty much known. It's really not that difficult. But here's the thing. New World isn't a bad game. The combat is rather solid. It does what it needs to do. You shoot things and they die. You hit things and they die. It's a combat system, right? The crafting is good. It's actually one of the best bits of the game, the crafting. The problem that I have with crafting, on the other hand, is crafting really is a secondary thing in a game. The only people that take crafting to a primary level are people that are already having so much fun in the other areas of the game that they decide to get hooked on the crafting. Crafting as its own thing, I don't think is going to carry a game, at least not for the majority of players. But the crafting is really good. It's intuitive. There's a lot of things, a lot of different professions that is needed in order to craft some of the better items in the game. And it really is, it's not bad. The map is beautiful. It's large. It's very open space. The graphics is absolutely phenomenal. The music and sound design is incredible. The game itself is good. So you might be asking yourself, but Aklon, what's the problem then? Well, the problem is that it's just good. It's not great. It's nothing to write home about. It's just a good game. It's a solid game. And that's the real thing that I want to focus on here. I don't think I'm never going to play New World. I think in 6 months' time, with a couple of patch content updates, or content updates, maybe in a year from now, with the first expansion or with massive content patches, I do believe that New World can be a true contender for one of the top MMOs. It's not going to kill any MMO, so I want to get that out of the fucking way before we even continue. I really need people to stop saying, is New World going to kill Final Fantasy? Is New World going to kill World of Warcraft? No. Those are literally the two games that it will not kill. Because it's not even close to the same, right? People that love WoW and love Final Fantasy is probably going to find New World, meh. It's just meh. It's not the same kind of game. It doesn't try to be the same kind of game. And that's good. I like the fact that it's trying to be its own thing. It's trying to be as unique as possible. But the game does have potential. The game has the potential to be a top-notch video game, a top-notch MMO. Right now, I would say that the most fun thing in the game is the adventure, right? Going out, leveling, being in that world. It's beautiful. It's absolutely picturesque. It's breathtaking in some ways. The game itself, the graphics, the being in the world. It's absolutely astounding. But once you get to max level, you start to realize just how thin the game is. The PvP itself, which is supposed to be one of the pillars of this game, is not near good enough to keep people in the game. I'm sorry, it isn't. I partook in a couple of PvP battles, and while, yes, they're fun, you never really get the sense that you're fighting over anything that matters. You don't really get the sense that this is an epic battle that you have to win. And maybe that is partly because I'm not really a PvP player. I don't really find a lot of fun in PvP in general. So maybe for people that is hardcore into PvP, they might love it, right? They might think that this is one of the greatest games ever. The dungeons, from what I've done during the beta, were very boring. Like very little challenge. I mean, the bosses present somewhat of a challenge, but only insofar as, you know, you have to move out of a couple of things, and that's really it. The whole combat, Dark Soul-esque kind of combat style doesn't really come into play in the dungeons, because in many ways you'll have your guy that's tanking, and he's basically going to be the only one that does some kind of Dark Soul-esque sort of thing, even though when I tanked during the beta, I didn't really have to do any Dark Soul-esque kind of stuff. You know, so I think the game has a long way to go. I think Amazon has a very long way to go with this game. They're going to have to take... And here's the thing. Here's why I believe that New World can be an absolutely phenomenal game in the future. Amazon does seem to listen, right? During the beta, the first beta, people were complaining, myself included. We were complaining about just about everything in the game. Amazon went away from that, right? They took everything that people complained about, then they changed it. They just went ahead. 3 months later, they changed almost everything in the game, and they fixed everything the way the players wanted it. And, you know, bam, we got another beta, and that beta was leaps and bounds better than the old one. Sadly, the things that needs to be fixed now are things that's only really going to become relevant and really obvious as the game matures, as people get to max level and people realize that there's nothing to do. The end game gameplay loop isn't rewarding enough. It doesn't feel nearly rewarding enough to actually have fun at end game. And by the way, this is not Amazon's New World isn't the first game to suffer from that, right? Elder Scrolls, when it first launched, I remember way back in the day, I played Elder Scrolls literally day one release, right? And you got to max level and you realized, wow, there's nothing to do in this game. You know, a lot of MMOs do that because end-game content tend to be difficult to design. It's almost like designing a game in and of itself. So a lot of companies focus on the initial launch with some stuff at the end game to do, and then usually with the patches that follow, you'll get more and more. One of the good things about the game, though, is there's no subscription price. The game is rather cheap. I don't know what it is right now on Steam, but when I bought it, it was like $25. Now, keep in mind that I'm from South Africa, so regional pricing does kick in, but I think it's like $30 or $35 for the game, and once you've bought the game, that's it. There's literally no subscription. You can just play as much as you want. So that's a good thing, right? I don't feel like I wasted my money because I know in a year from now, when they fix the game, I can play it again. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be waiting for that. But I wanted to make this video. I wanted to sort of give you guys my feedback so that people would stop asking me, dude, no New World? Why are you not playing New World? Well, because I prefer playing fun games like Final Fantasy Online. You know, you can watch me play Final Fantasy Online over on Twitch. The link is in the description down below. If you liked this video, if you agreed with anything that I said, or even if you disagreed with everything that I said, please hit that like button. It does help out the channel more than you would know. But let me know in the comment section, you know, what is it that you disagree with? If you think that I have the wrong of something, you are always happy, like welcome to say, hey, Akulon, you fat cunt. This, and this is what's wrong with your opinion. And I'd be happy to take that on board and rethink my position. if it needs rethinking. To all of the Twitch subs and the patrons, as well as the YouTube channel members, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support. Without you, this channel would quite literally no longer be here. So, want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.